Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing.
Morgan Freeman don't lie. Hope is dangerous, but it's what keeps college football fans hanging on in the tough times. Today, hope is fueled by
the transfer portal.
The transfer portal.
The transfer portal.
But will the prospects signal a path to prosperity or a pit of despair? We'll know by April, but why wait? Inside information, a flimsy stat, and a bold prediction. It's time for FSU Portal Prognostication. Hazel Hajavani joined by Hod Rubino. He is the publisher for Devil's Digest. Scott Reed of Duck Sports Authority. He is the senior writer for the Oregon website on Rivals.com. Here we go. Last one. Lamar and Albany, well, they don't have Rivals websites, and we couldn't get a hold of anyone in Orlando.
Bueller.
3 recruits, 3 time zones away, using the one-time transfer to restart their careers in the Mike Norvell offense. First up, Micah Pittman. Son of Super Bowl champion Michael, brother of the 34th overall pick of the 2020 NFL Draft.
Micah Pittman, wide receiver, USC.
Pedigree, strong to quite strong. What were the hopes, the aspirations most Oregon fans had when Micah Pittman signed and ultimately enrolled at the University of Oregon?
I mean, mostly what they thought is they were getting a slightly less tall version of his brother. They were hoping that he would put up the same kind of numbers that his older brother did at USC, that he'd be able to come in and kind of be that wide receiver one that is the guy that gets 40, 50, 60 catches a year and, 1,000 yards. I think that's what the hope was. Obviously playing with Justin Herbert was really helpful to him his freshman year.
Herbert went to the NFL, COVID entered our lives, and a promising start to a career began to hit some snags.
He flashed a lot of good stuff his freshman year, even in spring ball when he got there. His hands were incredible. The way he laid out to catch any ball. His freshman season got derailed a little bit with an injury that kind of was nagging for most of the year. He played a lot, but he missed a few games. Only scored 2 touchdowns both during his freshman year. And then, 2020 hit and everybody was limited.
All right, so why did he leave? Go look it up. No, seriously. Go to YouTube, type in "why did Micah Pittman transfer?" and voila. Click on it, and hey, give him a penny for his thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe to his channel. But go ahead and sum it up for us, Scott.
And I think this year, again, the hopes were there, but you're talking about a team that was limited in quarterback play and was really, really run heavy. And he didn't get a chance to really shine in the games. He was open countless times this year where quarterback dismissed him, didn't see him, checked down instead. And that can be frustrating for a wide receiver. When you do that work and get open and you don't get to make the plays, it can be quite frustrating.
That said, Oregon was 9-1, ranked 3rd in the country on November 17th, the day that Pittman entered the portal. Were the coaches bummed that he left?
Is Micah Pittman part of the program right now?
He won't be. He's moving on. We're moving on. We wish him the best, and we don't judge.
Okay, so mildly miffed. The numbers say that Oregon, on average, dropped back to pass more than FSU did, and on the whole were just as balanced as the Noles. And so Pittman comes to Tallahassee, making no secret that his goal is to carve out an NFL future. But can he?
I never want to tell people not to be optimistic about their future. He's got all of the tools. He's incredibly smart football-wise. He knows the game. He understands things that most people coming right out of high school don't understand about the game. Obviously, growing up with his dad and being around football all his life, he has a really good understanding of it. He's not as tall as his brother. He's 6'1" versus the 6'4" that Michael is. And, he's got better than average speed. We saw that in Stanford this year. He had a 66-yard catch and run. Really good speed. He actually outran any blockers. There was no blocker downfield to get to the safety that was up there. So, I think he has a shot.
Pittman's high school teammate Johnny Wilson was committed to Oregon but headed to Arizona State when his main recruiter took a job in Tempe. The towering target was one of the crown jewels of Herm Edwards' haul. Johnny Wilson's a guy that a lot of Florida State fans are super stoked about. How excited were people down in Tempe when he committed?
Yeah, there absolutely was a lot of excitement because, as the old football adage said, you can't teach somebody to be 6'7". You really just had a lot of potential and somebody that's supposed to be that so-called mismatch nightmare for linebackers, low and defensive backs to cover. I remember people in Jaden Daniels' camp told me coming into the 2020 season that they felt that Johnny Wilson was going to be that go-to guy, was going to be that fade route guy in the red zone, was going to be that guy that if he needed that tough third down, that Johnny Wilson would be that guy. And I don't think that really ever materialized.
Wilson enrolled amid COVID when it seemed the Pac-12 may not have a 2020 season. Heading into 2021, the school became embroiled in an NCAA investigation into recruiting violations that left his receivers coach in its wake. He was benched a quarter versus BYU for missing a team meeting and then had to shut things down after 4 games due to a hamstring injury. Did you ever see anything from him that you thought, okay, this is why a 6'7" receiver is going to be a real good weapon for us? This is why he was a Rivals 250 guy. Was there ever those sort of aha moments that people got really excited about him?
I think there were just really, really too few and far in between. I really wouldn't even call him, a top 3 wide receiver at Arizona State. And I think the numbers in his 2 years really do back that up. Especially his freshman year, he had a lot of issues at dropping the ball. But when you watch a replay, let alone watch game film after the fact, again, his run blocking has been absolutely superb. And I think as far as a blocking wide receiver, he was by far one of the best in the Pac-12. I would be shocked if he doesn't bring that element in spades over there at the Seminoles. So, again, should Florida State fans have no expectations whatsoever? I think that might be taking just a little too far, but I don't think really should be pie in the sky expectations.
Florida State not done plundering the Pac-12. In late January, they nabbed Oregon running back Trey Benson. As a prep star in the Delta of Mississippi, his first offer was up the road in Memphis from their former coach, Mike Norvell. The allure of a Power 5 offer was enough to make him turn down the Tigers and waddle west to become a Duck. What was kind of the expectation for him when he was recruited? I think we've heard he's got a pretty unique size and speed kind of combination. Was he an under-the-radar guy, or was he one of the more heralded sort of recruits in that 2020 class?
He was under the radar only in respect to how many of the other guys they signed that year. Some of the other guys that were 5-star talents, Noah Sewell, Justin Flo. So all of a sudden, a 4-star running back from Mississippi kind of flies under the radar. I know that the Oregon staff liked him better than his teammate, Dylan Johnson, who ended up at Mississippi State. Jim Astro really liked his size of power and speed, and when he saw him run that sub 4.4 at a combine, he was all in. And so the expectation was Oregon is known for smaller backs like LaMichael James. Even this past year, Travis Dye, he's 5'9" and 170 pounds. That's kind of what they became known for. But Mario Cristobal wants to run the ball, and he wants to run it up the middle, and he needs a big power back to do that. And the hope was he was going to be that guy.
However, on December 1st, 2020, 5 weeks into his freshman season, during a Tuesday practice, Benson suffered a season-ending knee injury.
Yeah, I tore everything.
I lost like 25 pounds on the injury. So I was like 211 at first, and then I ended up being 190. But I gained that weight back.
I feel like it was best though, because it made me who I am today.
You mentioned the combine, him running like a sub 4.4. Outside of that, was there any kind of other evidence you guys were able to see, whether it's at practice or in game, to give you kind of a feel for maybe what kind of player Trey Benson could be?
No, we didn't get a lot of chance to see him in practice before the injury to see really what he offered, because at that time he's behind a host of other running backs.
I say I'm like 95%.
Where is Trey in that return process?
Trey's great. Trey's probably 99% ready to go. He looked really good.
It's hard to say. What we know is he didn't quite have that burst this year, but I think another off season and 6 more months of getting himself some speed training, I think we'll have a much better idea. I think you'll see a better idea probably maybe for your spring ball, maybe not until fall.
So there you have it. 3 players out of the Pac-12 transferring to Tallahassee. One looking to continue his family's legacy into the NFL, another looking to hit reset, and another looking for a rebirth. How high will they climb? Who knows? Have to wait till April, maybe even later than that. But in the meantime, we can certainly hope for the best.